Welcome, everybody. We're going to do another reading of the classic Taken Abroad by Lauren Armstrong. So go ahead, take a seat, grab yourself a cup of weak coffee. I myself have a iced Havana cappuccino with me, and sit back and relax, and let's enjoy a rather fascinating story here. We're going to begin at chapter 5 today. Aaron looked up at the clock above the door of his room. It read 1:45 p.m. In just a few hours, he'd be on a plane and headed for home. He spent the last 3 months in the psychiatric ward of the hospital trying to get back to a normal state of mind. The doctor had told him the images they had seen and echoes of the cries they heard would never leave him, and there's no way anyone could make him forget what had happened. The only thing anyone could do was to help him learn how to deal with them so that he would continue on with his life in a somewhat normal way. It had been 3 months since he had lost it in the field, but in his mind it felt like it just happened yesterday. He began to wonder if he was ready to leave the hospital and be in society without supervision. The last thing he wanted to do was hurt an innocent person because of an unconscious state of mind. No, he said as he looked into the mirror of the small bathroom. I'm ready. The doctor wouldn't release me if he didn't think I was ready. He put on a thin jacket, went to the bed, closed his suitcase, picked it up along with his briefcase full of papers, and then walked out the door. On his way to the checkout desk, he met a nurse in the hall that had helped the doctor with Aaron when he had been there, and he had talked to her for a few minutes. Then she gave him a hug and wished him luck as he lifted the suitcase from the floor and started towards the checkout desk. Aaron took one last look around before he boarded the plane. He never really thought he'd be all upset about leaving this place where he had lost so much of himself, but he felt a strange feeling in his stomach because he was leaving what he had grown used to in a year, and leaving people behind that he grew to care about. He didn't feel right about leaving. He felt like the job here was still unfinished, but could not do anything about it. He looked down at the ground in front of him and then made his way through the portable staircase and entered the airplane that would carry him back to the States. He found his way to his seat and prepared for the plane to take off, and then stared off the window at its country full of turmoil. When the plane began to roll down the runway, he muttered to himself, "This is it. No more madness. This is where I'm going to try to start my life over again. A hell of a chore that's going to be." He closed his eyes and let his mind drift away as the plane began lifting higher and higher in the air. When the plane finally leveled out, Aaron took a couple pictures out of his family. He prayed that he could be the person they expected him to be. He always did his best to make his mother proud of what he had been, what he had done, but when this is altogether different. Maybe not for her, but it was for him. He put the pictures away. Then he lost himself in peaceful thoughts as he looked outside the window at the sight of fluffy white clouds that looked like cotton, and it made him feel like he's sitting in heaven. He thought of Paul as he slipped off to sleep and wondered if this is what Paul was viewing in heaven. The flight was long. After making 3 flight changes before landing in Indianapolis, Indiana, 23 hours and 13 minutes long to be exact, he was tired and was relieved to be set the first foot down on the soil in his home country. He hadn't got much sleep on the plains. He was anxious to get home and get in his old bed after he was so long sleeping on Army issued bunks. There's a large crowd of people in the airport and welcomed the troops home as they walked in the door. He shook the hands of many people that showed support for him and the rest of the troops. After getting about 3 quarters of the way through the crowd, Aaron caught a glimpse of his mother and began moving towards her with a happy but nervous smile on his face. Before he could set his bags down, she threw her arms around him, and he felt joy and relief that he was home. "I'm so happy you made it home safely," she muttered to him. Was he home safely, he thought to himself? Did he really make it home safely? Or was the person that his mother knew before still left in Iraq, while another Aaron, a damaged beyond repair Aaron, came home in his place? Could he hold up to the expectations that stood before him in the world that had been without him for a long, horror-filled year? He pushed these thoughts from his head, and his mother moved away from him and picked up his briefcase. "Let's get you home," she said with a broad smile on her face and a joy rolling down her aged and worried cheek. Aaron picked up his suitcase and followed her to the car and waving, say thank you to the people that gave him praises and walked by him. He set his suitcase in the trunk and closed it when he went to the passenger side of the car and sat himself down for a soft, warm leather seat. His mother, already sitting in the driver's side, started the engine to give him a quick, proud glance. She realized he's deep in thought when he had his head when he had his head down and his eyes closed. Aaron, are you all right? She asked him with a worried look upon her face. Aaron opened his eyes and looked at her. She saw a tear falling down his cheek. "I'll deserve all this attention," he told her. "All these people are praising me and the other soldiers, while there are people dying over there still." He looked away at the parking area in the back of his mother again. He saw the worried look on her face so he changed gears quickly to assure that he's fine. "I'm sorry, Mom. Let's go home," he said to her with a smile that he wondered if she could see that he had to paint it on. She put the car in gear and they quickly moved their way out of the airport parking lot and onto the highway that would take them home. Moving his car to the right lane to get on the off ramp, she began making small conversation with him to get his mind off whatever it was he was thinking about. "So how was the flight back to the States?" she inquired. "It was good, a little bumpy at times, but some turbulence is expected to fly as long as that one," he replied. "I hope you don't mind, but I redecorated your room. I painted it blue with red and white border paper. I also had the old brown carpet replaced with the light blue ones," she described. "I don't mind. It actually sounds pretty nice. The brown carpet was old anyway. That needed to be replaced," Aaron stated. "Yeah, I wish I had money to do it with. You're still in school, but money was tight then," she replied. "Are you trying to tell me I was expensive?" Aaron asked with a joking tone in his voice. "Nah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say anything like that," she joked back then with a wink in her eye and a pat on his leg. He gave her a smile and he moved his eyes back to the road. He all of a sudden got covered in a cold sweat, and his heart began racing when his mother slowed to make a right-hand turn, where he saw his friend Paul standing in the corner in uniform with the M16 rifle resting on his shoulder. Aaron rubbed his eyes quickly and looked again. Gone! Nobody there at all. What was all that about, he had wondered. He looked over at his mother to see if she had seen the panic all over him. Thank God she had the attention focused on the road. He did his best to quickly calm his heart, with the sweat from his face, without giving away any hint of something happening. Excuse me. Where were we? As she slowed the car to turn into the driveway, Aaron read a big sign that stretched on the tree to the another on the opposite sides of the driveway. It read, "Welcome home, Aaron," in big red and blue letters with white background. Looking at his mother in appreciation, he leaned over and gave her a kiss on the cheek. "Thank you, Mom." "No, Aaron, I'm the one that should be thanking you," she said with a serious tone of voice. "For what?" he asked. "For being born," she replied. He watched a tear roll from her eye and down her cheek and realized how lucky he was to have a mother like her. After the car came to a stop, they both got out and walked to the trunk to retrieve Aaron's bags. They closed the trunk and walked towards the house. His mother fumbled through her purse on the way to find the key to unlock the door. After she had the door unlocked, she walked in with Aaron in tow, setting his bags on the floor in front of him. He flipped the light switch next to the entrance door to the on position. Surprise! A chorus of yells came from people jumping out of hiding places and startled Aaron. His face turned pale against the unexpected event. He had to quickly regain himself from the flashbacks of Iraqi insurgent attacks. Wiping the sweat from the clammy hands, he worked up a smile, began shaking hands and giving warm hugs to his friends and family members that gathered together for his return home from the war. His mother had made all kinds of food set on a table on the counter, most of which were his favorites of his that his mother made special. There was chicken pie, butterscotch Rice Krispie squares, Reese's peanut butter squares. I'm pretty sure they're peanut butter cups, bro. What the fuck? Vanilla cream puffs, apple pies, chocolate cake, mashed potatoes mixed with corn and ham cubes, spare ribs with Mountain Dew, punch, and water to wash it all down with. Why Mountain Dew? Bro, get some Mr. Pitt, bro. What the fuck? Okay. Everyone had their turns talking to Aaron and asked him all kinds of questions about being over in Iraq and everything we were doing there. He felt like a broken record after answering most of the same questions 5 or 6 times over. Some of the questions hit him hard. He did his best at answering them without breaking into tears. Most of the questions that were asked were ones they had expected people to ask him anyway. It was about 10:30 p.m. before the last couple of people finally shook Aaron's hand and gave him a hug before walking out the door to go home. He's happy when he's finally able to get to the shower and soak his head and try to rid himself of the headache that had developed with the rush of questions over the evening. When he got out of the shower, he dried himself off upon the night clothes and he stood looking at himself in the mirror. Will I be able to be... Oh, shit. Will I be able to find the same man that I used to be before I went to Iraq? Or these images of the war going to haunt me more as time goes on? He asked himself. He let his head fall down and closed his eyes as he said a silent prayer. After saying amen, he lifted his head back up to take one last look in the mirror at himself before finding his way down the hall to his bedroom. His mother had already decided to retire for the night and she would clean up for the party the next morning, so he had already said goodnight to her. After climbing to bed and turning the light out, he lay there looking into the dark and let his mind drift back in time when he and Paul was playing basketball and Paul accidentally poked him in the eye, making his eye turn black and blue. Aaron smiled at the memory, but wished his friend made it back home alive instead of a decorated pine box and to be placed on the ground. He had difficulty sleeping all night, tossed and turned when he did finally fall asleep from the dreams he was having. The morning finally closed from the window. Aaron stumbled in the kitchen with his eyes half closed. "Good morning," his mother said in a gentle tone. "Good morning," he returned. "By the looks of you, you should go back to bed for another 8 hours," she said as she set a fresh, hot cup of coffee on the placemat in front of him. "Thank you. I didn't sleep too well last night," he replied. "If I stay up all day today, I'll be able to sleep better tonight." "Would you like for me to stop by the drugstore and get you something to help you sleep tonight?" she asked. "No, that won't be necessary. Thank you anyway, Mom," he answered after taking the first sip of the hot coffee. "What do you want today?" she asked him. "I think I just want to stay home today and get over this jet lag. It will feel nice to just relax and try to get some things off my mind." "All right, well, I'll have to run some errands. I'll be back this afternoon," she explained. "Okay, drive careful," he demanded. "I will." He stood up and gave his mom a kiss on the cheek before she walked out and then closed the door behind her. After watching her drive away, he poured himself another cup of coffee, sat down on the couch, and hit the power button on the remote control of the television. He flipped through the channels until he found one with the world news on it, curious if there are any reports about the war. It's on that channel for nearly 30 minutes before they mentioned anything about the war, and he had almost fallen asleep. He rubbed his eyes and sat up straight after falling back into a slouch so he wouldn't miss anything. They had to update about the war. His eyes grew wide, his hands became clammy, his heart rate picked up as began watching images on the television of a suicide bombing that killed 22 people in Baghdad. It brought back sickening memories for Aaron, and tears began to fall from his already tired eyes. Maybe I should turn the channel, he thought, but he wanted to see what was going on over there. Being back home didn't make him feel separated from the country that he had just left. It only made him feel stripped of the chance to be able to regain his sanity for himself and the innocent people of Iraq, and that he's afraid that he might play heavily on keeping himself from going insane. After all, a person is usually filled with self guilt when they don't complete a task they said to do. Was this going to happen to him? Was he going to drive himself to insanity because he was deprived of finishing a job he swore to himself that he's going to finish? Or is he filled with guilt because of the horrible way he witnessed people die in front of him and he couldn't stop it? The questions made frightening and disgusting images appear in his memory and brought what he felt was the cold hard truth in the open. Those people had died because he wasn't where he where he should have been. He should have realized that things were going too smoothly on those days. That things were just too quiet at those times. That he's just too relaxed in doing his job. Unconsciously, his mouth fell open as these thoughts filled his head. Just then, the phone rang and snapped Aaron out of his transfixed state of mind. He wiped his eyes with tears that he just realized had filled them, and he cleared his throat before picking up the portable telephone and he'll talk about it. Hello? Hi, this is Mom, she said. Aaron tried to disguise any sign of emotional problems he had just been having when he heard his mother's voice. He didn't want her to think that something was wrong and became worried. Hi, Mom, what's up? He asked, bringing forward a more cheerful tone to his voice. Not much, she answered. What are you doing? Watching a little TV and relaxing, he answered. Good, I thought I'd give you a quick call to see if there's anything you need while I'm out and about. I forgot to ask you before I left this morning, she explained. No, I'm fine, but thank you for thinking about me, though. You're welcome. I'll see you when I go home. Okay, bye. Drive careful. Aaron hung up the phone with a sigh of relief. They'd been able to put his issue past his mother that time, even though it was a very strained effort to do so. He lifted his head up to the ceiling, closed his eyes, and began running through it. He was thinking about before the phone had snapped him out of it. Those were ridiculous thoughts I had, he said out loud to himself. There's no way I could possibly have known what was going to happen. He looked at the television and saw the news report about Iraq. It had ended, so he flipped the channel to the country music videos. They slumped down on the couch and drifted off to sleep. The sound of a car horn like blaring in the driveway snapped him out of his sleep and made him snap up quickly from the couch. His nerves were on end for a few long seconds before he remembered where he's at, and that is his mother honking the horn in the driveway. He opened the door to find his mother loaded, loading up her arms with grocery bags, so he slipped on his shoes and hurried out to help her carry them in. You look like you just woke up, she said. I did. What time is it? He asked. It's a little after 4 in the afternoon, she answered. Wow, I guess it must have really been tired. Well, you had a long flight. That's probably wore you out. Well, I feel a lot better now, Aaron explained as he stretched and yawned before taking an armful of grocery bags. Hmm. Good, does that mean you'll help me cook dinner? She asked with a smile on her face. Yeah, I guess it does. Aaron smiled because um, smiled at his mom because he could tell she just wanted him to help her so they could spend some quality time together. He was happy she missed him. What are we having for dinner? He inquired. I thought we might make a pizza and then play some cards or something. Would you be interested in that? That sounds good to me. Sounds relaxing too, so it's a perfect way to finish out the day, he replied, as filling one more bag of groceries in his already full arms. Good, let's get these groceries aside and start on our pizza. If I finished carrying the rest of the groceries and began making their pizza. After eating, they played a few games of rummy, and she got Aaron caught up on the gossip of the family and told him stories and happenings at bingo and her work. He completely enjoyed himself, and she took his mind away from Iraq, and it helped him to relax easier. She never asked him anything about his time in Iraq while they spent their quality time together. Maybe she could see that he's bothered by guilt and the horrible images and memories from the war, and he needed a few hours where he can escape from it all and be himself again. Funny how mothers can see the most inner parts of their children, but nobody else has a clue that something was wrong. It was after it was after 1 o'clock um, in the morning when the family finally put away the deck of cards and turned the lights out. Aaron was tired again, even though he hadn't gotten a lot of sleep that day. He got out of his clothes, pulled back the covers, and climbed into bed, feeling good about the time he spent with his mother. It wasn't long before he was fast asleep in an endless night of tossing and turning. Aaron woke up to the smell of bacon, eggs, and biscuits flowing across his nose. He pulled some pants on, threw his shirt on, and groggily slid into his slippers. He stumbled clumsily down the hall and into the kitchen towards the coffee pot. After pouring himself a cup of coffee and spilling a quarter of it on the counter, he toned it to his mother as she spoke. You're not the most graceful person in the morning, are you? She said sarcastically. Aaron groaned as he fumbled, ripping off a couple of sheets of paper towels to sop up the mess from overfilling his coffee cup. I've definitely had mornings where I've conjured up more coordination than what I have this morning, he retorted. Shit. He threw his coffee soaked paper towels in the trash, added some cream and sugar to his coffee, and then shuffled his feet lazily to the kitchen table with his coffee in hand. His mother set a plate in front of him filled with 4 strips of bacon, 3 sunny-side-up eggs, and 1 steaming biscuit that was just pulled from the oven, along with a tall glass of freshly squeezed orange juice, or so it said on the carton. It didn't take him long to devour the food and down his orange juice. Once he finished eating, he began pouring his wake-up juice back into himself. Are you going to do anything today, or are you going to rest another day, his mother asked. I'm going to see my friend Derek today, he replied. I might also go to the Veterans Cemetery after that. I'm going to come back and make some calls and see if I can find out where my friend Paul is buried. Wouldn't it make more sense to call before you go to the cemetery? You can find where he's at. Would you like me to come? Uh, shit. Sorry for the interruption. I dropped my stardust, as Cyrax would say. So, uh, I had to fucking find it. Um, welcome to whoever's here, and let's go back to where we were. Would you like me to be home when you make the calls? She asked him with a look of concern on her face. No, I'll be fine. Thank you for asking me, though. All right, then I'm heading to work now. If you all set my numbers to the office in the refrigerator in case you need me for anything. Have a good day, Mom. You too, and be careful, she added. I will, Aaron replied. He gave her a kiss on the cheek before she walked to the door and then turned and headed for the shower, feeling the hot water rush over his head and body, which was refreshing and relaxing and revitalized the energy that he had lost from the long flight across the ocean. After getting dressed, he poured himself another cup of coffee, walked outside and stood next to his car and let the heat from the sunlight soak into his face. This is one of his favorite times of the day when the sun was just beginning to heat up the earth. It is a comfortable temperature. He finished his coffee and returned his cup to the house before heading off to visit with his friend Derek. As he was driving, he took out all the greenery besides the road he hadn't been able to enjoy for the past year. It was nice to see these things again. It helped to ease some of the tension in his muscles that had been growing that morning. He saw Derek sitting outside on his porch peeling potatoes for his mother. Derek stood up when Aaron got out of the car and greeted his longtime friend. Hey, Aaron, I heard you're back, Derek said as he set down the potato peel and reached out to shake Aaron's hand. Yeah, I just got back 2 days ago, Aaron replied. How have you been doing? Oh, wait. How have you been doing, Derek? Good. Come up on the porch. I'll get in the peeler. You can help me peel these potatoes while we talk. All right, Aaron answered with a slight smile, knowing Derek just wanted someone to help him so he could get finished with them quicker. Aaron sat down in a chair across the one that Derek had occupied and arrived when Derek repelled. When Derek returned with the second peeler and a couple glasses filled with ice and coke, he asked, "You must be happy to be finally home, huh?" Yeah, kind of. I'd be over there too, though. Aaron's mind began to drift in thought a little, and Derek noticed it. I know it must be a little hard on you. I've heard some of the stories about some of those people go through over there. So if you don't want to talk about any of it, I understand. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate that, Aaron replied. They sat and talked for a couple hours and they peeled potatoes. Derek caught Aaron up on what he had been doing since graduation, and plus let him know that about some of the other friends from school. Aaron stayed and ate lunch with Derek and then went back home so he could start making calls to find out where his friend Paul was buried. Once he pulled out a blank piece of paper and he pulled open the drawer where his mother kept the phone book. He pulled it out and sat on the table and began thumbing through pages until he found a phone number for Veteran Affairs. He removed the portable phone from his base and began punching in the numbers. He held the phone against his ear with his shoulder, and he put the phone back in the drawer and waited for the call to be answered. Veterans Affairs. How may I direct your call? The voice on the other end asked. Hi, I replied. I need to find out where a friend of mine is buried. I'm not sure who it is that I need to talk for that information. Hold on, I'll connect you with the proper department, the operator answered. Aaron waited patiently and listened to the hold music when he waited for the operator to connect with them. The person he needed to talk to after a few minutes of waiting, the music stopped and a young sounding voice came on the other end of the line. Veterans Affairs, this is Valerie. Hi, my name is Aaron Johnson. I need to find out where my friend is buried. I want to know if you can help me help me out with that. Yes, I can. What's his name? Valerie asked. Staff Sergeant Paul Pablo. Aaron replied as he held back the hurt in his throat. Where was he last stationed? She asked. In Mosul, Iraq. That's where he's killed, also. Give me just a couple minutes while I put you on hold and find that information for you, okay? Okay, thank you. Aaron waited patiently again and listened to a different song from the whole music that he heard from the last time he was on hold. He wrote down the words Paul's grave on a piece of paper and chased the letters a second time while he waited and thought. Finally, the music stopped and Valerie returned on the line. Hello, Mr. Johnson? Valerie spoke. Yes, I replied. I located your friend. The computers tell me that he's buried at Mount Pleasant Cemetery in Huntington, Indiana. Aaron wrote the information Valerie had given him on a piece of paper in front of him, thanked her for her help. He looked at the information again as he pressed the off button on the phone, took a deep breath, and then let it out heavily. He walked down the hall of his bedroom, removed the clothes, and got dressed in the military uniform. He stopped by the flower shop on the way and picked up a bouquet of flowers for Paul's grave, along with a couple of small American flags stuck on the side of his headstone. Once he found a cemetery, he parked his car, began walking in search for Paul's gravestone. After 30 minutes of searching, he found it at the bottom of the big hill under a maple tree, about 30 feet from a stream that ran along beside the cemetery. He placed a bouquet of flowers for the headstone next to some others that someone had left there. They stabbed the long sticks with the small American flags into the ground on either side of the gravestone. After putting the flags on the ground, he sat down on the grass in front of the headstone, looked down, plucked a couple strands of grass from the ground, looked back at the headstone with eyes full of tears as he began talking to Paul Stone. I made it home alive, Paul. I wish you're here with me. It'd be really nice to have someone to talk to about what feelings are inside. I feel like a completely different person. I feel like I'm trapped inside myself, and it's driving me crazy. I try my best to hide it, but I think sometimes people tell something's wrong with me, especially my mom. It's hard to hide things from her, but I can't talk to her about what I'm feeling because she didn't go through the things that we went through. Nobody can understand the feeling unless they've been there. I'm afraid it might be driving me insane. On my way home from the airport, I swear I saw you standing beside the side of the road. We round the corner. You're standing there in your uniform, holding a rifle. It kind of threw me when that happened. I'm not sure what it was about or if it was anything, but it's let me know that I may never be normal again. Well, I better be heading back home before my mother thinks something's happened to me. I I constantly see how she's worried about me. Goodbye, my friend. Aaron stood up and brushed off some loose grass from the seat of his pants and set attention to salute his friend's grave. After laying his arms down, he wiped another tear from his eye and turned and made his way back to the car. Aaron regained his composure on his way home. He was able to have a good, solid conversation with his mother about how his day was and how her day was. I feel a little bit better now that I was able to go to visit Paul's grave. It's a nice location, he told her. That's good. I know you must be having a hard time with it, though, so I thought if you want to talk about anything, you know that I'm here for you. She told him without pressure. She knew it wouldn't do him any good to be pressuring and talking about what he's feeling. All it would do is make it hard for him to deal with what went through and was going through. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate it, but it's too deep for me to talk about right now, replied with regret. Okay, whenever you feel ready, I'm here. She tried to comfort him. Aaron quickly moved the conversation by asking her if she knew what the weather is going to be tomorrow. Before she could answer, the telephone rang. His mother picked up the phone off his base, pressed the talk button. Hello? Hi, Mrs. Johnson. Oh, hi, Mrs. Johnson. Hey, what's up, Patrick? How you doing? You're just in time for a reading of Taken Abroad. Um, Currently on chapter 5, which is very freaking long for some reason. This is like the longest chapter so far. This is when he comes home and they make him they thank him for being born and give him like a whole platter of food. And you know, he's just eating the whole time. So let's see. Okay, so this is Derek talking. Hi, Miss Johnson. This is Derek. Is Aaron there? He asked. Yes, he is. She answered. Hold on a second. She handed the phone over to Aaron. It's Derek, she informed him. Hey, Derek, what's up? Aaron asked his old high school friend. Hey, Aaron, I want to know what you're doing on Friday night. Nothing I know of right now, Aaron replied. If I set you up on a blind date, would you want to go? Derek asked. Yeah, I guess, Aaron replied in surprise. Good. Can you be ready by 8 o'clock? Sure. Good. The girl's name is Brooke. She's 20 years old. You're going on a double date with me and my girlfriend, Amy. Brooke is Amy's friend, Derek explained. Okay, Aaron answered. All right, I'll talk to you on Friday. Derek stated before hanging up on the end of the phone. Boy, Aaron pressed the off button of the phone and placed it back on the base. What do you want? Aaron's mother asked. He wanted to know if I want to go on a double date with him and his girlfriend Amy and her friend Brooke. Aaron replied to his mother with a smirk. And you're going? She asked. Yes. You didn't have anything special planned for me on Friday night that you didn't tell me about yet, did you? He asked. Nope. I thought it was great that you got a date. I hope you have fun, she replied with a smile. Yeah, you're hoping for grandchildren, huh? He said jokingly. Maybe, but whatever you do, make sure the woman you have children with is the one you really want to be with, though, his mother added. I will, Mom. Don't worry. I'm not stupid enough to be stuck with just anyone. Aaron smiled at his mom being so protective of his future. All right, so that's chapter 5. Uh, take a sip of water real quick. Okay. Chapter 6. Aaron looked at the digital clock on his nightstand in the bathroom. It read 6:32 p.m. Derek will be here in 1.5 hours to pick me up, so I guess I should be ready now, he told himself. He really wasn't too thrilled about going on a blind date, but he didn't have anything better to do. He pulled some clothes out of his closet and dressed and took a quick shower. After getting out of the shower, he got dressed, combed his hair, and splashed a bit of cologne. So he still had about 30 minutes to go before Derek was supposed to arrive. So he made himself a couple of hot dogs, brushed his teeth, and munched on some popcorn while I watched. Why? Okay, before I continue, first off, why are you eating nasty ass glizzies? But then you brush your teeth to eat popcorn after. Wouldn't you eat the popcorn before brushing your teeth? Like, is he gonna drink some orange juice when he brushes his teeth too? And he's about to go to dinner. He ate like 2 meals right there. Okay, anyways, I don't want to get carried away. They saw Derek's headlights shine on the wall through the living room window. He quickly grabbed his wallet, walked out the door, locking it behind him. Striding swiftly to the car, Aaron got in and said hello to Derek as he buckled his safety belt. Hi, how you doing, Aaron? Derek asked. Good, a little nervous. I'm not too big on blind dates, to his friend with a friendly chuckle. Well, you'll be happy to know that Brooke doesn't like blind dates either, Derek informed him. Aaron muttered. Two people that don't like blind dates. Sounds like a match, huh? He said with a hint of sarcasm voice. Yeah, Derek laughed. It was Amy's idea. Oh, sure, blame it on the girlfriend, Aaron joked. Yep, just don't tell her that. I could get in trouble for it, Derek responded. Sounds like good blackmail material, Aaron thought, still joking. Gee, thanks. By the way, I don't have any money in the bank, so if you blackmail me, make sure you get something you want something small and worthless, like a $10 watch from Walmart. I'm guessing that girl's at the Amy's house, Aaron asked. Yep. I think you'll like Brooke. She's a really nice girl, Derek said, trying to ease Aaron's nervousness. Good, Aaron said, feeling better, knowing that Derek had high praise for his blind date. They pulled into Amy's driveway, got out of the car, and walked to the front door where Derek was greeting by Amy with a kiss, and she greeted Aaron with a handshake and a hello. Amy ushered them to the kitchen, still holding Derek's hand when Brooke stood, waiting to be formally introduced to Aaron. Aaron's mouth dropped open as he caught his first look at Brooke, and he had to catch himself so he didn't give a hint of losing his cool. That was his first impression. But he thought she was completely beautiful. He noticed they hadn't taken their eyes off of him either. That's a good sign, he thought of himself as he was able to move his eyes off Brooke. The sound of Amy's voice jerked him from his unexpected trance. That's not spelled right, bro. Okay. Ellen, oh wait, hold on. Aaron, this is Brooke. Brooke, this is Aaron. Oh wait, hold on. It's fucking Amy. Oh, I don't know what the fuck would Amy Rose sound like. I don't remember. Do the Silent Shoe voice here. Uh, After noticing the sparks between the two of the strangers, Aaron reached his hand out to shake Brooks, and he felt the rush of heat flow from her soft hand into her body. She's beautiful, he thought as he struggled to say hello to her. Brooke was the slight overweight, but Aaron didn't notice that right away because he was caught up in the beauty of her face and big brown eyes with long, thick lashes, beautiful, soft, straight blonde hair, and dimples so precious when she smiled and made Aaron hear his own heartbeat. She's about 3 inches shorter than Aaron's 5 foot 8 inches, which was good because Aaron wasn't attracted to a woman that was taller than himself. As well, gee, Aaron, there's a lot at that height. There's a lot of women who are taller than you, bro. Like, just saying. He slid his hand from hers when Derek's voice interrupted his brain this time. Are you ready to go? Derek asked. I'm ready if the ladies are. Aaron just answered, trying to impress Brooke by putting the ladies first to make the decision when to go. We're ready, Amy answered for herself and Brooke. Aaron and Derek escorted Amy and Brooke out the car and opened the doors for them. They walked around to the other side and climbed in themselves. Night moved along as they went out to eat, to see a movie, and then to a dance club. Aaron was happy to find out that Brooke only liked slow dances because he could dance fast dances very well, and he also got a reason to hold her close to him and get to know her better with one-on-one conversation. They were both happy to learn that all they had in common. By the end of the night, Aaron and Brooke had happily agreed to go on a second date and exchange phone numbers before she gave him a kiss on the cheek and part ways. Derek and Aaron were on the way to dropping Aaron off home. Thank you for thinking about asking me to go on a date with him before asking anyone else, Aaron asked his friend. You're very welcome, Derek replied. So you two have set up another date with each other, huh? Yep, a week from tomorrow, Aaron answered. Where are you going to take her? Derek inquired. She said she likes roller skating. So I told her she could do that, even though I'll be spending most of my time on my butt. Derek laughed. Well, maybe she'll take pity on you and hold your hand. That's what I'm hoping for, Aaron cajoled. Derek pulled into Aaron's driveway. The two shook hands and said goodbye before Aaron got out of the car and closed the door. Watched his friend drive away before entering the house. He turned after closing the door behind him and walked into the kitchen where he found a note left on the table from his mother. He smiled because his mother always left notes for him on the table when he was in school, and he enjoyed the memory. He picked up the note and read it. Aaron, there's some ham and potatoes and peas on the plate in the refrigerator for you in case you're hungry when you get home from your date. Leave me a note to let me know how your date went, and I'll let you sleep in tomorrow. If you don't leave me a note, then I'm going to wake you up so you can find out and hear about it. I love you more. Mom. Aaron smiled and flipped the paper over to write his mother a note about his date like she asked him to. Mom, my date was real good. I have another date with her next Saturday night. I'll tell you about it when I wake up. I love you, Aaron. He sat the pen down, walked to the refrigerator, pulled out the plate of food his mother had left him. After peeling the plastic wrap off the plate, he slid in the microwave to warm it up and poured himself a tall glass of milk. While his food was heating up, a sound on the table and the beeper sound on the microwave. He treated his plate of food, sat down and ate. He replied He replayed the events of his blind date with Brooke in his mind as he scarfed down his food. I really like this girl, he decided to himself in a whispered voice. I hope it works out with her. He finished the food, downed his glass of milk, and set his plate in the sink before retiring to bed. It's the first time in a long time he's able to go to bed without thinking about something from the war. Um, I'm gonna take a detour here for a second. Why the fuck are you drinking milk with your food? What is this, fucking elementary school or something? And then try doing that shit like, oh, hey, here's a carton of milk with your fucking burger or pizza. Uh, he's eating ham and peas, and it's like his third meal this whole evening. Let's see, he ate. Let's see. Well, actually, let's see. He ate 2 hot dogs, then popcorn, then went to dinner, then went to movies. Probably had more popcorn or candy or something, soda. Went to a dance, and then he eats again. He's like a damn hobbit. Okay. Anyways, I'm sorry. I just don't understand that too well for whatever reason. Um. Uh, okay. Aaron woke up at 8 o'clock the next morning to the smell of his mom cooking sausage, biscuits, and gravy for breakfast. He heard the sound of the coffee pot brushing a fresh, hot pot of coffee. He slowly sat up in his bed and rubbed the sleep from his eyes, and looked around the room for his clothes. After sliding on his pants and slipping into his slippers, he pulled a clean t-shirt from his dress drawer, threw it on over himself, went out to the kitchen where he greeted his mother with a kiss on the cheek and a polite "Good morning." By the smirk on your face, I'm guessing that you like this girl. His mother asked with, "You can't hide your feelings." And look on her face. Oh shit, that's not. Never mind. Why is it? Oh, for a second I thought it was a quotation mark. Yeah, I like her a lot, he replied with a smile. And his smile at his mother's remark. Well then, tell me about her, showed her with a smile on her face. He obeyed and began telling her about the night as he poured his cup of coffee. He told her he's having a second date with her next weekend and what she looked like. They talked about her while they ate their breakfast, and before they knew it, they had finished a whole pot of coffee, and it's almost noontime. I was sitting here talking with you about Brooke all morning. I haven't got any of my housework done. I better get started on before the day is over, and it's time for bed again. His mother put him on the arm and got up and began doing the housework while Aaron finished a cup of coffee. Thought I was going. Okay, another detour here. How come his mom can't take a day off? And Aaron, why are you being a fucking freeloader? Help your mom clean up her damn house. you, you're going psychotic like every minute. Like, why don't you actually like do some work and then you can think about something that's not like your friends being blown up? I don't know. After about 15 minutes of contemplating, he decided to go give his car a good clean out, then wash and wax it. He didn't want to be taking Brooke out on a date in a dirty car. Yeah, I don't believe she'd be too impressed with me if I picked her up in the car. Look as messy it does right now, he thought. As he said, his empty coffee cup on the counter by the kitchen sink. Oh, fuck. It was only 3:30 in the afternoon when he finished his car. So he decided to go over to his sister Kelly's house and see his new nephew, Hayden, that Kelly had when he's overseas in Iraq. He called her, made sure she's going to be head over. When he arrived, he found his brother-in-law Josh and his older nephew Blake playing pass with the baseball out of the front lawn. He stepped out of the car and closed the door just in time to catch his nephew jumping into his arms. Uncle Aaron! Blake shouted in an excited voice as he wrapped his arms around Aaron in a death grip hug. Aaron smiled as he buried the long choking hug. Hi, Blake. I miss you too. Aaron strained the words and tried to cope with the bear hug. Blake released his arms and drew back and looked at his uncle in a hero worship kind of way. How long can you stay here? He asked. For a little while, Aaron replied as he set Blake back in the dirt driveway. Cool. Mom's just chatting with Hayden. He's only 6 months old. So mom says he's stay inside where it's cool. Blake spat out. What's I'm not sure though. Okay, whatever. That's right. Don't want to get sunburned, Aaron says. He looked away from his nephew and reached his hand out to his brother-in-law's shake as he approached. Hi, Josh. Hey, Aaron, how's it feel to be home? Josh asked. It feels good. Different, but good, he replied. Blake, why don't you lead the way to show Uncle Aaron to your new baby brother, Josh ordered. Maybe he'll come out and play pass with us for a little while before he leaves, too. Blake obeyed and looked up at Aaron. Will you play pass with us before you leave, Uncle Aaron? Yes, I will. Aaron smiled and ruffled Blake's hair. Cool. Blake exhausted as he jumped up and down. Kelly is probably in the kitchen cooking supper. She'll be happy to see you, Josh explained. She's been wondering when you come over and visit. She's so happy when you called to let her know you were coming. Blake opened the entrance door and Aaron and Josh followed aside. Aaron stopped Blake, put his fingers to his lips in the signal for shh. He then walked and passed Blake, moving through the living room, then slowly and quietly moved towards the kitchen, where he sees his sister moving dishes about and talking to the baby. Peeked around the corner to see where she was standing. She's standing with her back to him. So he moved still in the kitchen doorway, then purposely made a throat clearing noise. You could tell he succeeded in surprising her. She jumped up and spun around all of a sudden in the unexpected sound. Oh my god, Aaron! She yelled as she walked briskly over to him and gave him a tight hug with one arm, held the baby in the other. How long have you been standing there? She asked with a smile on her face. Not long. How's my new nephew doing? He asked as he put a finger to the baby's chin. He's being a little brat today. He doesn't want to be put down, she answered. Aaron reached his hand out to his little nephew, Hayden, away from Kelly. Let me hold him for a bit. Give you always a break. Gladly, she replied with a sigh of relief that someone had rescued her arms from the feeling wanting to fall off from the strain of continuously holding the baby. Aaron pulled the baby close to him when the baby stared in surprise as the new person now holding him. Aaron flipped the baby's nose with his fingers and said boink. Hayden gave Aaron a comical little giggle and he pulled his finger back. I won't make him go too hard, Aaron. He's liable to pee on you at any time, Kelly explained. Oh, yeah, I just realized he doesn't have a diaper on under his outfit, Aaron replied. Yeah, I need to have Josh go to the store for me. I just realized about 15 minutes ago that's out of them, Miss Kelly said. She gave a knowing look to her husband so she won't have to ask him again later. You should have asked me to pick up some on the way here, Aaron scolded. I would have if I known at the time, but like I said, I just realized that. Oh, what the hell? Ah, fucking hell. Where was I? I would have if I known at the time, but like I said, I just realized it about 15 minutes ago. Kelly replied, Oh, I see. Do you want to stay for dinner? Kelly asked as she began preparing the evening meal. Aaron gave it a couple minutes consideration and asked, How long before it's ready? About an hour. Why? Do you have a date? Kelly replied with a smirk on his face. So I see you've been talking to Mom, huh? He cajoled. Yep, she told me about your new girlfriend. She's not my girlfriend yet, Aaron replied with a smile. She will be, though. She says yes to a second date with you, so she will be, Kelly said, believing her point was justified. So is that yes to staying for dinner? Kelly replied for an answer. Yeah, I guess so, he answered. What are we having? Ham, baked potatoes, and corn on the cob. Sounds good. Does this little guy have problem chewing on the ham though? He asked jokingly. Haha, Kelly smiled. He gets that mushy stuff in a little jar that says Gerber on it. Want me to feed him for you right now? Does he eat at the same time we do? Aaron inquired. Well, if you want to feed him right now, you can. You can, and maybe you can rock him to sleep. We could talk over dinner without the interruption of the baby, Kelly answered, as she plopped the corner of the cob into the big kettle full of water. Okay, Aaron agreed. Where's the bib? Where were we? Where's his bib? Blake, would you get Uncle Aaron a bib from the baby drawer, please? Kelly asked her son. Uncle Aaron, I thought you said you played pass with us before you left. Blake asked on his way to the baby drawer. If you don't get to play pass this time, the next time I come over, we'll play, okay? In response to his nephew, promise? Blake asked with the innocent look that only a child could hold. I promise, returned. The setup here, Aaron, you'll have to practice you need for when you have kids. Brooke will be impressed to see you right now, Kelly said with a smile. Cute, Aaron says and smiled back to his sister. He went about feeding the baby until the jar is completely empty. Even though a lot of the food landed on Aaron in the bib, he's still amazed at how much a little tight could fit in his stomach. After Aaron finished feeding Hayden, Kelly cleaned them up and let Aaron rock him to sleep. Once the baby was asleep, Aaron's able to slip out unexpectedly to Blake and play pass. Blake was still about three of them playing pass together. Once dinner's ready, Kelly beckoned him to come wash up for dinner and talked to Aaron during the dinner, mostly about Brooke and about his plans for staying in the military or getting out. Aaron had been undecided before, but the army was pressing him to get out because they didn't think it was good for him to stay after what happened to him in Iraq. Now, after meeting Brooke, Aaron could feel his thoughts leaning towards getting out. He stayed a couple more hours after dinner and visited and decided he better go home. He wanted to go and visit his little brother the next day and wanted to wake up early to do it and surprise him. All right, that was chapter 6. So far, those have been the two longest chapters of this book. Um, a lot of strange occurrences going on here, but yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll tune in next time and see what tune in next time to actually probably one of the best chapters here. We're about to get to the sex scene.